York City, the fight for your vote. Your front row seat to the battle for New York's next mayor. It's the old guard clinging to power, chasing a candidate they never saw coming. Every night, our experts break it down.
What New Yorkers want above all else is authenticity.
He's been more visible in the Hamptons this summer than he has been on the streets of New York City.
We're listening to the people who matter most, you, the voters.
He is the shining star. He's working very hard. And I think he would work hard for the city, too.
And when the candidates sit across from us, nothing's off the table. What's your plan to make New York City feel like a safer city?
S.E. Cup, that's your perception. Of course, there's a lot of crime.
So what's happening right now? Let's dive in. Welcome to Battleground NYC, the fight for your vote, where it is Wednesday, August 27th. We have 69 days left until the all-important New York City mayoral race. It has the city and the country buzzing. It's all anyone is talking about. And we've got it all covered for you right here. I'm S.E. Cup. Let's get right into it. Joining me in today's show a little bit later, we'll discuss a controversial proposal by mayoral Democratic nominee Zohran Mamdani, a government-run grocery store, and how that could affect small bodega and store owners. But first, as always, let's get to the latest news off the campaign trail. Joining me once more is Ayana Harry, a political correspondent for Spectrum News New York 1. Welcome.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. Okay, this is the news I've been waiting for. It's not the engagement everyone's talking about, Ayana, but
not the Love Island reunion.
The political, you don't even know what I'm talking about. It's the political engagement I've been waiting for. We have debates.
Yeah.
Debates have been announced, and that's coming from the New York City Campaign Finance Board. I've been waiting for this because I kept looking on the schedule. No debates.
I know.
Announced. We have them now. Tell me everything you know.
Yeah, I can tell you it took a little bit of time to hammer down all of these dates, but we know and we're expecting 2 mayoral debates to come up. So the first one will be on October 16th. That is hosted by WNBC. And you're going to see a few more candidates on that stage than you will on October 22nd. That's the final mayoral candidate debate. That's going to be hosted by New York 1. And that's a leading contenders debate. So by the time we get to October 22nd, we're going to have less candidates on the stage, more time to hear from each of them. And so we expect that to really be a deeper dive of the issues. And I mean, that's late October. So that's when viewers, that's when New Yorkers will be tuned in, paying attention to the race. So we really expect a lot of eyes on that second debate.
Okay, what changes in criteria happen between the first one and the leading contenders one? And how does someone qualify for the leading contenders debate?
Yeah, to qualify for the leading contenders debate, you're going to have to meet a polling threshold of 5%. So, candidates who have struggled in the single digits, really have not been able to pick up momentum, haven't been able to fundraise significantly, they're not going to be able to be on the stage. And for both mayoral debates, the candidates are going to have to be participating in the Campaign Finance Board's Matching Funds program, which prioritizes donations from local New Yorkers over, donations from large corporations.
So who is threatened by these qualifications? Could Eric Adams not make one or both of these debates, for example?
That would be, I think, pretty stunning if the mayor were not to make one of the debates, particularly the leading contenders debate, considering he is the incumbent mayor. Where he's polling right now, he is in the single digits, but it does seem like he will make this leading contenders debate. But we are still in August. There's a lot of time to go until we get to October, and the mayor has faced some real challenges. So we're going to have to continue to watch his numbers.
Yeah, and everyone's saying, wait till after Labor Day. Wait till after Labor Day. There's going to be, it's like this campaign's going to go into hyperdrive after Labor Day, which is around the corner.
I feel like we're already in hyperdrive. I mean, every single day we are watching this back and forth. I mean, it's almost like the U.S. Open. We're going back and forth, watching the two candidates. So everyone is saying wait until after Labor Day. We're being told also that some of these big name endorsements might come in after Labor Day. I spoke with Congresswoman Yvette Clarke right after she sat down with Zohran Mamdani and Hakeem Jeffries. She said she may weigh in with an endorsement or think more about an endorsement after Labor Day. but it feels like we are already, in full speed ahead with this race.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that because I know that Zohran Mamdani met with House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Congresswoman Yvette Clarke and more than a dozen clergy leaders in Brooklyn just yesterday. And you're saying maybe an endorsement, which has not come yet from Hakeem Jeffries, maybe that comes after Labor Day?
Well, at least Congresswoman Yvette Clarke said she's going to be more focused on an endorsement after Labor Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what Congresswoman Clarke was saying. In terms of, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, it's unclear what his timeline is or whether he will even endorse at all. I spoke with several sources who were in the room and during that meeting yesterday between Jeffries, Mamdani, Clarke, and several local clergy members, and they said there was no expression of support for Zohran Mamdani.
Wow.
From Hakeem Jeffries, from Yvette Clarke. They said they were just there to listen, to facilitate a conversation, but they didn't get any inclination that they were, it was very clear to the clergy members who were there that this was not an endorsement. They were merely providing a platform and a space for them to be able to hear from the Democratic nominee.
It'll be really something if Hakeem Jeffries just sits this race out and doesn't endorse. That'll say something. I don't know, good or bad. We'll have to talk about that November 6th, but it'll really say something if one of the leading New York Democrats just sits this race out, don't you think?
Yeah, particularly when you look at the numbers from primary day. Zohran Mamdani did incredibly well in central Brooklyn, in the neighborhoods that Hakeem Jeffries represents in the House. So, yeah, he's certainly going to have to face real questions from his constituents. In fact, one of the people I spoke with, one of my sources who attended the meeting, he said in some ways it's almost beginning to feel like this endorsement will almost be meaningless in some ways because Zohran Mamdani is already out there. He doesn't need Leader Jeffries to introduce him to people, to boost him, because he's already been doing that work, in particular with all of these volunteers continuing to knock on doors.
It's fascinating the way this race is really upending the way politics, as usual, happens in these campaigns. It's really fascinating. Okay, I want to go back to the debate for just a minute.
Sure.
We've seen Eric Adams debate. We've seen Andrew Cuomo debate before. But what kind of energy are you expecting both of them to bring, knowing they are not going to be the front runners, most likely, and this might be their last real shot at changing minds?
Yeah, I think they're going to be looking for moments. They are going to be looking for those moments that people will be talking about, that they will be sharing on social media. And I expect all of the candidates to be very aggressive in going after each other. We're seeing Andrew Cuomo continue to try and make Zohran Mamdani's name synonymous with socialism. We're hearing Eric Adams say that both Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo would steer New York City in the wrong direction. I think they're going to come with anecdotes, with one-liners, with those zingers to try and stand out and break the noise. And they know that, look, we are certainly following this race, but not all New Yorkers are following this race. But by October, by these debates, everyone's going to be following and paying attention.
I'm cringing quietly to myself at what some of these one-liners are going to be. But let me give them the benefit of the doubt. And what about Zohran Mamdani? Because we saw him debate once, but we haven't seen him debate in the general election now. He's the front runner. He'll have more eyeballs on him this go round than he did on the primary. What are we expecting from him?
I expect that Zohran Mamdani is going to, just like the other candidates on the stage, be aggressive. And I think he has probably been responsive to some of the criticism he's received, that he's come out with these big platforms, these bold slogans, but people don't really understand how he's going to implement them. And so I do think that Zohran Mamdani is going to be moving beyond, the sayings, freeze the rent, free buses, and give more details as to how he plans on actually enabling them. Because I think that's one of the biggest criticisms that his campaign has been hearing recently is people say, this all sounds nice, but how are you actually going to get it done?
I think that's so crucial because we've all talked about for the past month or so his authenticity, his charm. He's winning social media. Great. But, as a voter, I want answers to those questions that you just asked. How are you going to do it? How does this make sense? Yeah. And these debates are that forum. These debates are that forum to do that. So I think they're going to be crucial. Do you expect these debates to be bigger than in previous election years in terms of tune in and coverage and chatter. I just imagine, because everyone's talking about this race from DC
Yes.
to Dallas, that they're just going to be big.
Look, I expect this to be a ratings bonanza, if you will. This local race here in New York City has become national news. Whenever I
Yes.
travel outside of the city and people ask me what I do, the first thing they want to do is talk about Zora Mamdani, talk about Andrew Cuomo, hear about Eric Adams. So the national appetite is there, particularly as Democrats look to 2026 and they are trying to understand, should we be embracing a more populist message? Should we be moderating? Where should we go as a party? I think that they are really truly looking at this race in particular as an indicator of what's next for the party around the country.
I agree. I think that's undeniable, and I'm hearing that from Democrats almost every day. Let's talk about a new ad. It's put out by a PAC endorsing Mayor Eric Adams, and it's lumping Mamdani and Cuomo together as soft on crime. Let's take a listen.
Who is helping criminals the most? Cuomo paroled 24 cop killers. Mamdani says shut down the jails. Cuomo passed dangerous bail reform. Mamdani said dismantle the police department. Cuomo and Mamdani have lots in common with each other. Nothing in common with you. Paid for by Empower NYC.
Now, Ayana, we reported earlier this month that Mayor Adams does have a record of low shooting incidents and deaths this year that he can, if anyone can own that, he can.
Yes.
So is this his best issue, crime, and making Cuomo and Mamdani seem too soft on it?
So here's the thing. It's a little tricky because we have seen some recent high-profile shootings in neighborhoods in New York City over the last couple of days, particularly in the Bronx, shootings that have impacted young people, teenagers. And so New Yorkers may be sitting at home saying, I hear you, Mayor. I hear you, Police Commissioner. I see the statistics. But there was just a shooting not too far away from my house, or I saw what happened where, several people were shot on a basketball court in the Bronx, a place where they should be able to just have fun. So there is, there have been a few high profile shootings that have made the news that do have New Yorkers feeling rattled. Mm-hmm. And we're actually seeing Curtis Lewa go directly after Eric Adams on that issue.
Yeah.
Curtis Lewa, I was with him yesterday, and he said, over the weekend, I was in the Bronx talking with police officers, talking with community members after a shooting, and I was the only candidate there.
Wow. Yeah, Curtis Lewa is great. He makes some really good points, and no one can doubt his authenticity as a longtime New Yorker. Okay, last thing from the New York Post, our friend Craig McCarthy brings us this reporting. Mamdani is distancing himself from at least one of the Democratic Socialists' policies, doing away with criminal punishment for all misdemeanors. So, what's a misdemeanor in New York City? Things like third-degree assault, DWI, harassment, things I think most people would like to remain criminally punishable. But the DSA has backed Mamdani's campaign. He has political roots in this organization. He's a member. He was the group's keynote speaker at their convention. Will he be able to really distance himself in the eyes of voters from DSA policies and platforms?
He is certainly trying to distance himself. Zora Mamdani, his message has been, particularly recently, that although I'm a member of the DSA and I have roots in that organization, my platform is not the DSA platform. Keep in mind, Andrew Cuomo just held a press conference a couple of hours ago where he basically went through the DSA platform and tried to tag it all to Zora Mamdani. So this is as he tries to moderate for a general election, electorate. We're going to see, I think, Zora Mamdani try and separate and distance himself and show where there are some differences between his platform and the DSA's platform. Whether or not the public will fully buy into his message, we're going to have to wait and see.
That's the tricky part, right? Because he got elected with their help. And part of his appeal is that he's not with the two major parties, right? He's the Democratic nominee, but he came up through this sort of more progressive Democratic group. They've helped him considerably. They have tied themselves to him. And now that he's in a general, he's asking voters to say, well, I'm not with them completely. That's a big ask.
It's a big ask. And he also doesn't want to alienate members of the DSA because so many of
That's
them
right.
have been out there canvassing for him, volunteering for him, knocking on doors. So it's going to be a fine and delicate balance for Zohran Mamdani. But he is, I think, going to have to ultimately come out, clearly state where he stands on the issues, where it aligns with the DSA,
Right.
where it doesn't, but just make sure people fully understand who he is, what he believes in.
Yeah, it's tough. He's campaigned on big changes, big ideas, breaking the status quo. If he continues to moderate on some of those issues, he's going to sound a lot less changey and a lot more status quo-y. It's tricky, but that's what's making this so interesting to watch. Ayana Harry, thank you so much for your great reporting and your insight and your analysis. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, up next, should grocery stores be funded by the government? We'll talk with one person who is vehemently opposed to this proposal. Battleground NYC, the fight for your vote. Will be right back. We're back with Battleground NYC, the fight for your vote, where we're laser focused on the New York City mayoral election. This race is full of personalities, but ultimately, New Yorkers care about issues, policy solutions to serious problems. And the problem of affordability is the biggest among them. To help address this, frontrunner Zohran Mamdani has introduced the idea of government-run grocery stores, with the hope being that it will make some groceries more affordable for more people. But many folks believe this is akin to socialism and is a bad idea for New York City. But what would it really mean? Well, joining me now for the bigger picture is Francisco Marte, founder and president of the Bodega and Small Business Group. Francisco, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So before we get to the mayor's race and this particular issue, Francisco, for folks who are watching outside of New York City who might not know, talk about New York City's bodegas and why they're so important to our communities.
Yes, well, bodegas in New York City, they are very important. They are it's like iconic. And in New York, we are in every corner of the New York City, so we are very convenient for our community. And it's like we are part of the family. We create, open the store in the community, sometimes very low income community, and we employ the people who live in the areas. We turn to be like a part of the families. You see that's what everyone wrong. When anything happens, they go to the bodegas. When the people need something, they go to the bodegas. We always open. We are always serving, no matter what. Even we are their psychologists also sometimes because they go there to the store. They confess because we create some link with the community. And since we are in every corner, different corner, so but we the bodegas, especially bodega owner, we are in contact directly with the people every day. So we create the link, the relationships, where we are part of their families and their problems also. So we there for them when they need something. We there when you even you can come downstairs because you got your kids. You just go to the bodegas. We send you what you need. We
Right.
just there for the community. That's how important it is for the
Yes.
community.
Yes, listen, I was a New Yorker for many years, and I will tell you, your small neighborhood becomes your entire world, and the bodega becomes the center of your neighborhood. That is a fact. What are some of the problems that bodega owners face in New York City, whether it's crime or high rent or other issues?
Yes, our bigger problems in the last couple of years has been the public safety. We can remember that with De Blasio, that was crazy. I believe that they are the one who create the insecurity, the defund the police, where they can with defunding the police, and they was the people wasn't respect the police. The crime was getting high, and there was no consequence. That's one of the major reasons why the crime is so high, because when it's no consequence, the people is better off to be a criminals than to have a job, because they just go and they take whatever is from the people who work, and then they be out there the next day if they get arrested. Because most of the time the police, even when the police get to arrest them, they they let it go. They just give an appearance ticket, so it's no consequence, and that's
Right.
one of the problems that we are facing. It
Okay.
look like can turn even worse.
Francisco, stay with me. Don't go anywhere. I have more questions for you. But first, I want to hear from what one voter says is their top issue in this campaign. And Battleground NYC will be right back.
What are the most important issues to you in this current New York mayor's race?
Crime.
And why?
And crime. Those are my two important issues pertaining to New York City. And I'm sure 8 million other people feel the same way.
And we're back here on Battleground NYC, the fight for your vote, one more time with Francisco Marte, founder and president of the Bodega and Small Business Group. This is a crucial organization in New York City. Bodegas are a crucial part of neighborhoods in New York City. And importantly, Mr. Marte, you oppose a proposal by the frontrunner, Zoran Mamdani, to make government-run grocery stores. The idea with that is to make groceries more cheaply available to more voters and New Yorkers. You oppose this. Tell us why this won't make sense, and in fact, it might hurt New York City's bodegas and small businesses.
Yes, we oppose that because we understand that first that plan has been failed. Second, that's gonna affect. They're gonna use our own tax money to compete with us, and that will be unfair. That's not gonna fix the problems, and it's no way that the government can sell the products much cheaper. At least they be using only our tax dollar to make it more accessible for the people, but they don't have, because they don't produce, the city doesn't produce the products. So still, what we need is to have a better change of distribution, so that we already are serving our community. We have the capacity to have the best products everywhere. That's not the solution. That means the socialism always fails. And we can see that around the world, that the socialist always fails. We are capitalists. And that's the solution, that we have to find a way how we can serve better the communities, how we can bring the products more affordable, so how they fix the chains of distribution. The people can get the price more affordable. Stopping the taxes. When he say he's gonna be taxing the rich, that means that the products that they produce are gonna be higher. The people who produce the employment, who produce the employment, so the people can work and make the money to go to the store, to the bodegas, to shopping, they're gonna leave the state, the city. So that's not the solution. I believe that what he's offering is something that's gonna hurt New York. This is a great city in the world. We don't need that type of socialism. We don't need that type of people. We have to come together to fight that, because that will hurt everyone's, especially public safety, and the government competing with locals, independent owners. So that's gonna create a mess, a chaos. That's why he's pointing to create in the city of New York, a city of the chaos. And we cannot allow that. We have to work all together and be common sense. That is what we have to do, a common sense. That socialism doesn't work, have never worked. It's proven when you see countries like Venezuela and different countries in the world that never work. They never work. Even here, they have tried another state and they have failed, and the crime just go up. So we don't need that. We just need to have a better relation with the business community, with the law enforcement community, and that's what we need to come and working together.
Well, this is why this show is so important, because we're not just talking theoretically about these issues. We're talking about issues that are going to impact real business owners, real New Yorkers. And I thank you, Francisco Marte, for coming on and talking about the way this very specific proposal will impact the community that you represent, the community of bodega owners and operators and small businesses. I really appreciate. We're going to do a lot more of this as we get closer and closer to the election, really diving into these issues. So we'll see you back here tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, for more in-depth conversation, context, and reporting right here on Battleground NYC, the fight for your vote.